Gosh, I did not expect so much discourse on my video about the skyrocketing price of ground beef in the United States. In that video, I mentioned that our family has the privilege to be able to afford to buy half a cow, and sometimes we buy half a hog, sometimes we buy a lamb or half a lamb, and that is the entire meat supply for our family of 6 adult-sized people. We don't buy factory farmed meat, and that when you buy a half a cow, that averages out to about 3 pounds of meat a week, plus bones for soup and stuff like that. So do the math, 3 pounds a week for 6 people, that's about a half a pound a week. It's not a luxurious amount. It's not like a huge amount at all. But in the comments of that video, I got people with, first of all, thank you to everybody who shared what the price of ground beef is where you live. It ran the gamut from, I believe, $4.49 a pound up to $12.99 a pound. In Portland, Oregon today, it's $9 a pound for 80/20 ground beef in the grocery store. It's not grass-fed. It's not grass-finished. It's not ethically sourced. That is factory farmed ground beef. And the problem is not the cattle ranchers. It really is the meatpacking industry and Donald Trump. But gosh, whenever we talk about food choices, dietary choices, access to nourishing food, and culturally appropriate food, boy, people got strong opinions. A lot of vegans got really mad at me. I had angry vegans in my DMs. I make zero apology for being an ethical omnivore. I make zero apology. I have come to my dietary choices after a lot of careful consideration. My permaculture ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share inform my decision to be an ethical omnivore. For me, my choice of food is not solely about animal rights. It is, to an extent, about the humane treatment of animals. That's why I don't buy factory farmed meat. I would rather be a vegetarian than eat factory farmed meat. I know the conditions, I know the farmers, I know the life that the food I am eating lived. These are animals that had a good life and had one bad day at the end. And I've made my peace with that fact. I have no problem with the way that I eat. But it's not just about the animal rights, y'all. It's also about the labor exploitation. It's also about the way that agricultural workers are treated. Veganism is not about human rights at all. In fact, a lot of very popular vegan foods are grown and processed through really, really exploitive labor means. Cashews, anybody? Avocados, anybody? And not just that, but also huge environmental cost. Almonds, anybody? My compassion for animals, my ethics around the treatment of animals also extends to wildlife. It also extends to animals that are not cute, fuzzy livestock. I'm trying to take a holistic approach to my eating. And I recognize the amount of privilege that takes. We basically ate no meat for about 15 years because we could not afford ethically sourced meat. So we just ate a lot of beans and a lot of lentils, and we still do eat a lot of beans and a lot of lentils. But it's not just about the ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share. It's not just about the labor cost. It's not just about the environmental cost of our food. It's not just about the animal rights issue. It's also about cost. It's also about what is culturally appropriate. And when we talk about the cost of food and access to food, the foods that we want to eat, the foods that nourish our bodies, it becomes very personal. It becomes very personal. So this person left a comment, having meat is a luxury. Depression meals were beans with bacon grease or a ham hock if you were lucky. Okay, I really want to push back on this, Tanya. Being able to afford a pound of ground beef in the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on earth, should not be a luxury. Also, have you seen the price of bacon? Bacon grease is a luxury. We lived for many years where we ate a lot of split peas with one ham hock in it because that's all the meat that we could afford. I understand that meat is expensive. I understand that there are other foods in this country that are heavily subsidized, so we do not experience the full environmental labor costs, the true price of those foods, corn and soy in particular. We eat a lot of really empty filler calories that are super, super subsidized by our tax dollars. So they appear cheap to us, but we don't understand the full cost. But I really want to push back against this idea that meat should be a luxury, or that people in the United States, the wealthiest nation on earth, should struggle to eat culturally appropriate, nourishing foods. That we should struggle to have access to those foods and to be able to afford them. Donald Trump promised to make America great again. What about $9 a pound for 80/20 ground beef is greatness? What about that is raising the quality of life for the working class? The majority of Americans are omnivores, the vast majority, like 95%. Having very run-of-the-mill foods be pitched as luxuries is trying to shift the needle on what we should accept as working class people. They want us to be content with less and less. They want to squeeze us for everything we have. While the super rich live in obscene luxury, they have access to every food, no matter how significant the environmental and human cost is. The super wealthy have access to all of that. It's the epitome of gluttony up here. While we're arguing about whether or not a pound of ground beef should be a luxury for 340 million Americans. The super rich are fucking eating beluga caviar, Wagyu beef, foie gras. You understand? They are trying to make you content with less and less. They are trying to tell you that what you had as your normal 5-10 years ago should now be considered too good for you, too extreme for you. You should be happy with less. That's not greatness. The version of greatness that Donald Trump wants is not extended to us. It is only meant for the super rich. It's only meant for the Peter Thiels, the Elon Musks, the Oprah Winfreys, the Jeff Bezoses, the Jewel Kilchers, the Sydney Sweeneys. It's not meant to be extended to you or to me. And I really want everybody to remind yourself, however often you need to, frequently, please remind yourself that what we are living now is not normal. They are trying to move the needle. They are trying to make us accept so much less than we deserve. They don't want the working class to experience pleasure, comfort, rest, entertainment. They don't want us to have access to any of the good things that they have in abundance because they have taken them from us. Nobody in 2025 America should be looking back to the Great Depression to derive the standard of living for the working class in the United States. This is a great time, if you have not read Kristen Hanna's book, The Four Winds, to pick it up and give it a read. And then tell me whether you think that that is what we should be living. And then also think about whether or not that is what Donald Trump wants us to be living. MAGA's agenda is entirely unsustainable. They know that. It doesn't mean that they are not going to try and get blood out of a turnip. It does not mean that they intend to inflict tremendous suffering in pursuit of their unattainable goal, in a fruitless attempt to satisfy their endless craving for more and more and more, while at the same time wanting to control and deprive us from everything good that they seek to have in obscene quantities. You deserve more than this. I deserve more than this. Our children deserve more than this. Every working class person in America deserves so much more than what Donald Trump and MAGA have intended for us. Do not allow what you are living now to become normalized. This is not normal. You deserve so much more.